Articulated truck falls off circle interchange in Accra.
Abesin water treatment plant in Bono-Ahafo shut down.
Persons with disability to man toll booths from July 1.
And elsewhere, public hospital nurses join doctor strike in Zimbabwe. Good evening and welcome to News Hour live here on your news channel GBC24. We are also live on GTV. My name is Evans Echampon.
And my name is Emmanuel Abelgashi. And now to our very first story. A land train carrying 2 cargo containers lost control and fell from the Kwame Nkrumah interchange onto 2 buses. The 2 containers were loaded with bags of sugar. 1 container suspended at the top of the high-rise metal structure while the other went down. 3 people who got injured have been conveyed to the hospital. And we'll bring you pictures to these stories later during the bulletin.
Now, Parliament concluded the debate on the President's State of the Nation's address. The House shifted its focus to the budget, which will be presented on Thursday, 2nd March 2017. Fiscal consolidation, enhancing macroeconomic stability, and rolling out pro-poor policies are expected to dominate the first budget of President Nana Akufo-Addo's government.
Members of the House had divergent views on the celebration of Nkrumah on Founders' Day in view of the many others who contributed to Ghana's independence. We bring you videos of this story later during the bulletin. And we move on to other stories. It's been about a week since the taps ran dry in many homes in Sungai and its environs following the drying up of River Tano. The water level in the river has dwindled to the extent that the volumes are not enough to run the water treatment plant at Abesin.
For this reason, the management of the Ghana Water Company have shut down the treatment plant for the first time.
During the Harmattan season across December, January, February and early March, the effects of the weather impacts unfavorably on the environment. The season affects crop farming and causes water bodies to recede. There is often a significant reduction in the water levels of the Tano River. The Tano River, which is mainly located in the Bnamfu region in the middle belt of Ghana, is the source of water for many towns in the catchment area, including Sunyoy Estate, Nkwabing, Snake Flats, Penkwase and Mayfair. Reports say the current shortages in water supply treated and pumped out of the river by the Ghana Water Company Limited is the most severe in years of a recurring situation. The operational system has virtually ground to a halt as the water in the Tano River is woefully inadequate to running treatment plants. The statistics give a clearer picture of the extent of the setback. Water flow has plummeted from 1.6 million gallons to 0. The Bnamfu Regional Director of Ghana Water Company Limited, Mr. Charles Brobe, said the shutdown of the Abesin water plant is indefinite.
Let's look at it in the long term. In the long term, yes, we believe it will have an effect on our operations. But then we think that we are the masters in the production of water. We are here, and very soon we think that we can put things in place and where we can produce. And when we start producing and they see the quality of our services, they will normally shift onto our system again.
However, there is a glimmer of hope for affected consumers. Mr. Charles Brobe said these boreholes will provide a backup. However, residents are not amused.
With the polytank here. yet yabe as in probate be delights in so new soda and maybe ebia na adwuma gu as in poyechi wo fie.
This is Kobedi Booster Station. It serves hundreds of residents in Sunyani West with groundwater. GBC24 caught up with a drilling team from Ghana Water Company Limited preparing to dig additional boreholes. Mr. Charles Bobe said it was part of measures to mitigate the effects of any future shortages in water supply.
Now, realizing that the color of his skin was likely to make life a bit more difficult for him, he set out to change the status quo. He told himself he would make a name in science, a name in literature, and therefore raise the image of his race. In the end, that is exactly what he did with hard work, perseverance, and dedication. The man William Edward Bogart, or W.E.B. Du Bois, pushed the frontiers to rise above prejudice and suppression to advance the cause of African Americans and Africans and become a leader in the Pan-Africanist movement. We bring you the second part of the story.
In 1961, Dr. Du Bois settled in Ghana and began work on the Encyclopedia Africana at the request of Ghana's president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. The Encyclopedia Africana is a compendium of information on Africans and people of African descent throughout the world.
He gave him accommodation here on this compound. So Du Bois lived in this compound for almost 2.5 to 3 years before he died. He was very old when he came to meet.
The exhibits in here are changed occasionally. So what we have here now is in commemoration of the Black History Month, which we celebrate in February, in October, and in November.
Dr. Du Bois married twice, first to Nina Goma, who died in 1950 and with whom he had 2 children, a son, Bogart, who died as an infant, and a daughter, Yolande. As a widower, he married Shirley Graham in 1951. She was an author, playwright, composer, and activist. Shirley brought her son, David Graham, to the marriage, and David Graham later took his stepfather's name. Dr. Du Bois is remembered as a leading African-American sociologist, activist, Pan-Africanist, author, and editor. He has over 1,975 written works to his credit, notable among them being The Philadelphia Negro, a social study, The Soul of Black Folk, Black Reconstruction, and Dark Water, among others.
One ever feels his two-ness, an American, a Negro, 2 souls, 2 thoughts, 2 unreconciled strivings, 2 warring ideals in one dark body, whose dogged strength alone keeps it from being torn asunder.
But when we got to the scene, we found a cargo truck. We found a trailer with 2 cargoes loaded with sugar, and we were told by eyewitnesses that one of the tie burst and the driver lost control. The trailer was reversing on its own, so in an attempt to gain control of the vehicle towards the right-hand side, that is those from the Nima, the ringway towards circle towards the Abeka road. So when we got the injured and had been conveyed to the hospital, the trailer fell on 2 other 207 buses that were currently loading at the bottom of the interchange. So there were passengers already in the trotro or the 207 buses. So when the trailer head fell on the 207 buses, some of the passengers in the buses tried to escape through the windows. Those who couldn't escape were rescued and sent to the hospital. We also have the police coming in to control the traffic on top of the interchange and also at the bottom. They had conduct off the bottom part of the interchange so that no vehicle would be flying that side of the road.
Okay. All right, Sarah. How is the traffic situation currently? Has the traffic been controlled by the police or is still heavy?
Well, about an hour ago, it was really, really bad. It was really hectic using and it's flowing freely.
Okay, Sarah, were bystanders also injured in the accident, or those who were injured were all in the trotro buses?
Well, they couldn't say who were injured because it's unclear whether the occupants of the trailer also got injured. But according to eyewitnesses, they saw the driver trying to sort out some documents from the trailer head and he disappeared. Say that again, please.
Any other thing you want to add to this story?
Well, what I rather found disturbing was that instead of passers-by,
Report, and that's my colleague Serofori reporting live from the Kwame Nkrumah interchange here in Accra. We move on to other stories. From July 1, over 200 persons with disabilities will man various toll booths across the country. And this is a social contract the Ministry of Roads and Highways has entered into with the Ghana Federation of Disability Organizations. Nuto Bibini. Nuto has more to the story.
There are several hundreds of physically challenged people who are registered members of the Ghana Federation of Disability Organizations, the umbrella body of many groups of the physically challenged. At a meeting in Accra with the leadership of the physically challenged, the Minister for Roads and Highways, Mr. Kwesi Amoakwata, announced a package of at least offering a 50% of the 428 non-automated toll booth operators to the physically challenged, a number that could shoot up depending on how the first employees perform.
I pledge that as a start, on pilot basis, we are going to cede to you 50%.
We are joined on the line by my colleague Serofori, live from the Kwame Nkrumah interchange,
who were instrumental in the struggle for independence from her colonial masters.
Of the staff who work at the various toll collection booths and points. This is scheduled to start from 1st July this year, and we shall make even the toll booths disability friendly so that you can carry out your work. It's going to be a decent job for all of you. Please be honest to yourself, be honest to your God, be honest to your country.
This requires that the skills of the prospective employees need to be sharpened as they look forward to this new opportunity. The onus therefore lies on the leadership of the Federation of Disability Organizations to identify the physically challenged across the country with a minimum of junior high school certificate for employment to man various toll booths across the country. This, the members say, could lead to many physically challenged moving off the street to earn a decent living.
The 200 people, they have families. So their family is going to do what? To be free. So it's something which is good for us, and that's why I say we still need more. So it's going to impact very effective in our life.
There's always an issue for not getting people to employ them because they doubt their potential. And so when they are employed, they will be economically empowered to take care of themselves and even their extended family.
The collaboration between the Roads Ministry and the Federation of Disability Organizations permeates all activities of the sector, starting from the design of future roads and public infrastructure to make them disability friendly. GBC24, Accra.
On Wednesday, Parliament concluded the debate on the President's State of the Nation address. The House shifted focus to the budget, which will be presented on Thursday, 2nd March 2017. Fiscal consolidation, enhancing macroeconomic stability, and rolling out pro-poor policies are expected to dominate the first budget of the President Nana Akufo-Addo's government.
This minority will support government, any government, to fight graft, fight economic criminality, and fight corruption. But it must be done procedurally right. What the President is suggesting is to say that the office of the Attorney General is lame and impotent. They cannot deal with corruption, they cannot deal with graft. Yet you have an office dedicated by the Constitution, responsible for it. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, we are in harmony with his thinking. Let's fight corruption, but let's follow due process and the right procedure in strengthening it. In any case, Mr. Speaker, the Constitutional Review Committee, the same forces that work against the Attorney General being effective, will work against whoever will be appointed an independent special prosecutor. What we want is fairness in enforcing the law and punishing persons whether in or out. That wrongdoing is wrongdoing, and ethical behavior is unethical behavior.
Ghana does not have one founding father. It doesn't. So many people came on board. R.S. Blay, S.G. Anto, Tombo, all of them contributed their quota. But one person did very well. Herculean effort. We appreciate that. But for anybody to say that he's the sole founder of this country, that is, it can only be born out of untruthfulness. Mr. Speaker, the issue about the establishment of the office of the special prosecutor, I was surprised the minority leader was only likening the situation to what exists in the United States of America. The US is now a Commonwealth country. Best examples should exist in other Commonwealth countries: Canada, Australia, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, New Zealand. Compare, and you see where we are coming from. In any event, even though the Constitution provides in letter and spirit what you quoted for us, how come we're able to establish your how can we able to? So don't impugn ill motives. On the bill count before us, if it's going to give us strictures, narrow strictures, we are here to sanitize it.
We're still News Hour live on GBC24 and Ghana Television. The Director General of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, Dr. Kwame Ekufu-Annofin-Too, said Ghana's Diamond Jubilee celebrations should be a time for sober reflection and a period to draw inspiration from the past. Dr. Annofin-Too was speaking at a forum organized by GBC as part of activities to mark Ghana's 60th anniversary.
March is significant sign of patriotism. Various organizations and corporate bodies draw up programs to commemorate the day. This year, the nation turns 60 and the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation has declared the month of March as Heritage Month. The Heritage Avenue Month started with a forum which walked us back in time, focusing on Ghana's history and struggles to attain independence. Speakers of the forum dwelt on the personality in Nkrumah, the 7-year development plan, and the UGCC and the struggles for independence. The Director General of GBC, Dr. Kwame Ekufu-Annofin-Too, said we must, as a nation, bridge the gap between the young and old generations.
When it comes to the subject of our independence struggles and the events that surround its key actors and players, there seems to be not just a generational gap between the older generation and the younger ones. There is also an epistemological gap between those who experience independence and the younger generation. This forum, therefore, should be seen as the first effort to address this epistemological gap.
Touching on the African personality, Professor Emeritus J.H. Nketia described Dr. Nkrumah as a lovable person and one who preserved Ghana's culture.
When Nkrumah was looking forward to the African personality, becoming a base, it wasn't really just a dream. It was a foresight because we do learn from one another.
A lawyer, Mr. David Ofosu-Dote, said the 7-year development plan by Dr. Nkrumah is still relevant and if put to use can serve as a blueprint to develop the country.
Is the 7-year development plan still relevant to us? My answer is yes. It is very relevant.
Taxes, start implementing the free SHS policy, halt the fall of the cedi, and roll out policies to stimulate growth in the private sector. On the eve of the presentation, GBC24 sampled views in Accra on what many expect from the new government's maiden budget. It was evident that the youth are expecting a budget which will address graduate unemployment.
A lot of people are finishing school every year, but once we come out, then we remain jobless. And I hope that the government should put more money and then more structures in place, especially in the...
Said it takes cognizance of the statement, hence the apology to the president. Now, Air France operates a direct flight from Accra to Paris. The return of the airline, which stopped operating in Ghana some decades ago, is seen as an acknowledgement of the steady growth in the country's aviation industry.
Flight AF78, one of the fleet of aircraft to fly the Accra-Paris and return route, touched down at 7 p.m. on Tuesday. Air France discontinued the Ghana route in 1946, made a return later and left again. The French company makes a comeback on seeing a steady growth in Ghana's aviation sector. The company also seeks to take advantage of the strong business ties that exist between the two countries. Air France will operate 3 flights a week. At the inaugural ceremony, Chairman of Air France, Jean-Marc Janliac, was optimistic of the prospect of Ghana's aviation sector.
Customers living here in Ghana may represent a significant and growing part of our passengers. Our hub at Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport will provide them with broader access to all of our destinations in Europe and all over the world.
Aviation Minister Ms. Cecilia Dapa said Air France's presence in Ghana falls in line with government's vision of making Accra an aviation hub.
It shows the interests and the importance of the Accra hub to Air France KLM. And I believe we also appreciate the essence of this flight because it will open up the country to a lot of business people and tourists. And that will also help us as our vision in line with the national airline we want to establish on the West Coast. So we will do the mopping up of passengers in the West African sub-region, bring them to the hub in Accra for the bigger airlines to pick them up.
Of the authority have been misunderstood and misrepresented by the public. This book therefore gives us another medium and opportunity to enlighten all and sundry changes of the market environment.
On the outlook, the NLA hopes to become one of the leading gaming companies in Africa. Business Ghana Oil Company Limited has written to President Akufo. We finish off on the international commodities market where light crude is trading at $54.19 per barrel and cocoa at $1,943 per ton. Gold is going for $1,252.40 an ounce. And that was business. Good evening.
Welcome back. The top executives of Air France this morning paid a courtesy call on the President, Nana Akufo-Addo, at the Flagstaff House in Accra. The call comes on the back of Air France's resumption of operations in the country after being away for more than 71 years. President Akufo-Addo used the occasion to invite investors to come to Ghana and do business because it has the right political and economic environment.
Air France resumed its operations in Ghana on Tuesday by flying its first passengers from Paris to Accra. The visit to the seat of government was to officially introduce the leadership of the airline to the President, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, and also outline their line of business to him. The delegation was led by the French ambassador to Ghana, Mr. Francois Pujola. Francois Pujola said France will continue the solid relationship with Ghana based on partnership and mutual interest. He assured Nana Akufo-Addo of France's commitment to assist Ghana to achieve her economic growth. The chairman and chief executive of Air France KLM, Jean-Marc Janelac, said the focus of Air France in Ghana is to improve business relations between Paris and Accra. The president, Nana Akufo-Addo, congratulated Air France for its resumption of operations in Ghana. He assured the investor community to see Ghana as a perfect destination of business because the government has instituted the right policies that will support growth of investment.
The Ghanaian people have expressed their determination to do something about it by changing their government on a program of reviving the economy of our country. We're doing so on the basis of improving the business climate in Ghana.
The new Accra-Paris route has 3 times weekly direct flight with Airbus 330.
The news continues.
In health news, the perception that consuming egg will lead to an increase in bad cholesterol has led to a decrease in the consumption of the commodity. But the Ghana Health Service and the Ghana Poultry Association think otherwise. Now the two bodies have joined hands to help increase egg consumption within the next years.
Ghana's poultry industry contributes over 30% to the country's GDP. According to the Ghana National Association of Poultry Farmers, 1.5 million eggs are produced daily. But the production exceeds demand because of a low local consumption, and this is slowing down the growth of the poultry industry. This trend is attributed to the public's misconception of bad cholesterol associated with eggs. In view of this, stakeholders of the poultry industry, in collaboration with the Ghana Health Service, has launched an egg campaign to sensitize Ghanaians on the health benefits of consuming eggs to increase demand for the commodity. The Deputy Chief Nutrition Officer at the Ghana Health Service, Madam Kate Kwashi, spoke on the benefits of consuming eggs.
There are several protein-rich foods, but eggs and milk are in a different category. And that is why it is one of the things that we promote to be added, to be used to enrich rapidly growing children's diets, to enrich the diets of pregnant women, enrich the diets of the vulnerable groups.
The Vice Chair of the Ghana National Association of Poultry Farmers, Mr. Ajiman Odro, said high local demand for eggs will go a long way to create more jobs in the poultry industry and develop the country's economy.
Even if half of the population decides and get excited, then our operation is going to be over 100% increase. And that can guarantee you the jobs that the country looking for.
The Director of Animal Production
working, and above all, a well-equipped outpatient clinic. So now you know, giving your employees the best healthcare could be your best investment. Be like Mr. Mensa. Sign them up to the #1 health insurance provider, Acacia, to keep your business growing. Acacia. We place value on those you value.
Oh boy, what you they talk?
I said it's time for Mr. Flavor.
Wait, no. Wait till you talk, say the time be.
7 p.m.
What time is it? Charlie, if you talk 3 minutes for your glow line, you go automatically enjoy free talk and also 60 MB of internet data. For Charlie be so.
Talk for 3 minutes in a day and get free Glow to Glow calls. You also get free Facebook, WhatsApp, and internet data. Plus, you get the best call rates in town at 11 pesos per minute to all networks. Dial *456# to subscribe.
The grandmasters of data. Glow.
As part of the 60th Independence Anniversary celebrations, GBC is organizing Heritage Avenue on the 2nd and 3rd of March at the ZOY Gardens, the forecourt of GBC. Heritage Avenue, the 2-day outdoor event, will display the rich Ghanaian culture through trade exhibition, healthcare screening, food bazaar, and live band music. There'll be breast, eye, and prostate screening, general healthcare, and blood donations with the National Blood Bank. All donors will benefit from souvenirs from our sponsors. In attendance will be the Paysetters Band of GBC, featuring Pinodo.
In Accra, the competition decide who will participate in the World Cup. A win for Ghana will mean that Ghana Rugby will get promoted to 1C level in rugby, and continued success can see Ghana being given a shot at a Rugby World Cup spot.
We will host a tournament. It'll be a smaller one. We've committed ourselves to do. The presidents of the other countries, especially Modeste from Togo, is like a younger brother to me. And I know the challenges that they're all facing. But I think the tournament will take place. And we will participate. And we shall do well. We will make Ghanaians proud. And I think the rest of the world will watch us and say, we did not know that rugby was even played there. Wow. So I think that's the benchmark of where we go from this. We have our application for IRB status. It's being viewed very favorably. We have ticked all the boxes. We've had our interviews. I've been interviewed by Morgan Buckley at World Rugby level. This tournament will take place. The world's eyes will be on us. It'll be a great spectacle for those who are interested in rugby. For me, it's part of a process. Administratively, we must show that we can run things.
Hello, good evening. Time for the Arts News. My name is Valerie.